All right, so get this. Today we're diving into something totally different, Spanish language, children's horror.
Children's horror.
Yeah, you heard that right. Someone requested we take a look at Mati y el asombroso encuentro con el hombre con pies de pez.
Okay.
Or for those of us who don't speak Spanish, Mati and the amazing encounter with the man with fish feet.
Wow, that's a pretty unique combination right there. Children's horror and in Spanish. I'm really curious to see how those two things come together.
Yeah, me too. So what do we even learn from Mati's journey? Not just about the story, but about how we all deal with fear family and the unknown, even as adults, right?
That's a great question. I think sometimes the most profound lessons come from the most unexpected sources.
Totally, all right. So Mati, our main character, is this tech-savvy kid who loves video games.
Okay.
And get this, he tells his story through YouTube videos.
Oh, wow. So meta.
Right? It's like the author found this really clever way to give us his unfiltered, kid-like perspective.
Like it kind of immediately grounds us in Marty's world, a world that's both familiar and slightly off-kilter.
Exactly. And he describes his dad as a zombie-oquisia after his dad starts acting strange.
A zombie-oquisia.
Yeah, it's this perfect blend of childish confusion and genuine fear.
And that fear, that speaks of something really universal for kids, the feeling of helplessness when a loved one undergoes a dramatic change. It's like watching someone you love turn into a stranger, and you just don't have the tools to understand it or fix it.
And it's even more heartbreaking because Mati's videos show us these glimpses of their family life before things went wrong.
Oh, of course.
There's this beautiful memory of them dancing in the rain to I'm a Believer on his birthday.
Oh.
And then suddenly everything changes after the dad gets this phone call from Señor Desconocido.
That's so jarring. That contrast really emphasizes the sense of loss. It's not just the dad's physical presence that changes, but the entire, emotional landscape of the family shift.
Totally. And speaking of family dynamics, did you catch the part about the cool family council meetings?
No, what's that?
So they actually vote on big decisions as a family, including the cat Mello.
Wait, the cat gets a vote?
Yeah, it's so cute, right? It really highlights that sense of agency for Mati, his voice matters in the family structure. So when his dad starts shutting down, it's not just about a parent becoming distant. It's about Mati feeling like he's lost that voice, that his opinions no longer count.
You're right. I hadn't thought about it like that.
So everything seems pretty normal, if a bit quirky.
Right.
Until Mati stumbles across these mysterious girls singing about the Hombre con Pies de Pez, the man with fish feet.
Okay, now we're getting into the creepy stuff.
Yeah, and then these creepy notes start appearing inside his house. Talk about unsettling.
I'd be freaked out.
Totally. This is where the author really starts to layer in elements of folklore and urban legend, right? The man with fish feet becomes more than just a scary monster. He embodies that fear of the unknown, the things that lurked in the shadows. And the rhyming song the girls sing, it just adds to the whole eerie vibe, foreshadowing, creating a sense of dread and inevitability.
Yeah, it reminds me of how different cultures use folklore to explain the unexplainable, especially when it comes to children's fears. It's like giving shape to anxieties that might otherwise feel overwhelming.
Oh, that's a great connection. I hadn't even thought about the cultural aspect of it, but things take an even darker turn when Mati accidentally receives an email that was meant for his dad's work buddy, Mike. And the email reveals this chilling transformation. The dad calls family a plague and says he's become a machine.
Wow, that's harsh.
Right, it's a complete rejection of his former life.
Mm-hmm.
And it speaks to this fear that I think a lot of us can relate to, even as adults, the fear of losing ourselves in the demands of work, of becoming so consumed by our obligations that we neglect the things that truly matter. It's like the man with fish feet is starting to represent those pressures, those external forces that threaten to pull us away from our loved ones.
Yeah, I see that.
And poor Mati is just spiraling, trying to figure out what's happening. It's online that he connects with this mysterious figure, calling themselves #Papa Zombie, who claims to know how to help.
#Papa Zombie. That's interesting. It's like this new kind of mentorship that's unique to our digital age, When traditional avenues fail, when adults become unavailable or uncomprehending, children often turn to the internet for answers. They find solace and guidance in online communities and personas, sometimes even in the most unexpected places.
Yeah, it's like a modern-day fairy godmother, but with a digital twist.
I love it.
And #Papa Zombie doesn't disappoint. They possess the Livre de Bon Âge, this ancient book that describes the creation of zombies and other supernatural beings.
Yo, hold on, zombies now.
And get this, they connect Mati's dad's condition to the man with fish feet, claiming this creature steals souls to increase his power.
So we've got an ancient book, a soul-stealing creature, and a dad who's turned into a workaholic zombie. This is getting intense.
I know, right? It's like all these classic elements of children's literature, but with this dark twist.
That forbidden knowledge trope. It's a classic, right? The idea that there are secrets out there, both wondrous and dangerous, and that sometimes seeking those secrets can lead to unintended consequences.
Totally. And it also reflects that natural curiosity of children. Their desire to understand the world around them, even if it means venturing into untargeted territory. So how does Mati even begin to fight back against a soul-stealing creature?
Well, according to #PoppyZombie, the key is a powerful memory.
A memory?
Yeah, something that can, reawaken the dad's true self, his connection to his family, and the things that really matter.
Oh, okay. That's where those memory objects come in, right?
Exactly, those physical items that can, trigger those strong emotional responses.
Like, think of a favorite childhood toy, a photograph, a piece of music. Those things act as anchors to our past, right? Triggering memories and emotions that can literally transport us back in time.
Totally.
And in Mati's case, he needs to find a memory strong enough to combat the man with fish feet's influence. So he decides to recreate a family trip to the Bosque de las Tucas, the Trout Forest.
Okay.
To take a selfie at a specific spot that holds a special meaning for him and his dad.
A selfie, that's his plan.
And his preparations are hilarious. I mean, he packs his anti-apocalypse backpack, a drone to film, even books a Miober rideshare for his cat Mello.
A rideshare for his cat?
Yeah, it's a blend of childish enthusiasm and this deep determination. He's facing a serious situation, but he's approaching it with the tools and resources of his generation.
I like that. There's something really endearing about it.
And there's this super poignant scene in the car when he hears his dad's favorite song, Can't Help Falling in Love.
Oh, wow.
And it triggers all these happy memories.
That's the power of music, right? It can evoke such visceral emotional responses, transporting us back to specific moments in our lives. And for Mati, that song becomes like a lifeline, a reminder of the love and connection that he's fighting to reclaim.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Mati arrives at the Trout Forest, selfie ready. And bam, the man with fish feet appears.
Oh, no.
And let me tell you, the author does not hold back on the creepy details, fishy feet, the smell of rotting flesh, that menacing voice. It's nightmare fuel.
Okay, I'm getting chills just listening to you describe it.
And the man with fish feet doesn't just try to scare him physically. He, plays these mind games.
What do you mean?
He tells Mati that his dad willingly chose this new life that he despises his family. Talk about a low blow.
Oh, wow, that's brutal. He's really preying on Mati's insecurities, trying to break his spirit and convince him that his quest is futile.
Exactly. But Mati doesn't give up. A fight breaks out, and guess who comes to his rescue?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Mello the cat.
The cat, seriously?
Yeah, it's like this sudden transformation from cuddly house cat to fierce protector.
I love that it plays on that archetype of the animal familiar, right? A creature that's often depicted as a source of strength and wisdom in mythology and folklore.
Totally.
Mello, who's been this silent companion throughout the story, suddenly becomes a symbol of loyalty and unexpected courage.
He's definitely not just a lazy house cat anymore. So the fight reaches this climax. Mello delivers a decisive blow to the man with fish feet, and there's this blinding light.
Okay.
Matty feels like he's flying, and then he wakes up in a hospital with his family.
In a hospital?
And his dad is back to normal.
Wait, so did Mello actually defeat a supernatural being, or was it all in Mati's head?
Right. The author leaves that part kind of ambiguous. It's open to interpretation.
Clever.
And in Matty's final YouTube video, he hints at having this epic drone footage of the battle, but keeps it all under wraps. He talks about appreciating simple pleasures, being grateful for his family, but he never explicitly says what actually happened in the forest.
I like that open ending. It allows the reader to engage with a story on multiple levels. Is it a fantastical adventure, a psychological thriller, or a coming-of-age story about the power of belief? It's really up to the individual to decide.
Okay, so we've unpacked the main plot points, but what about the author himself? What can we learn about Jonathan Molina from the About the Author section?
Well, we learned that he was that kid in the back of the classroom, seemingly bored, but actually his imagination was running wild.
The daydreamer.
Exactly, and instead of wanting to be the hero of the story, he wanted to be the storyteller.
He even mentions writing in his school notebooks while the teachers were lecturing. Clearly, he's always had this passion for crafting narratives.
And you can see his diverse interests shining through in his writing. He loves children's literature, horror, strange and unusual tales, science fiction, film, football, and cats.
It's like all these passions have converged to create this unique blend of genres and themes in his work. It's interesting that he studied law and public policy, but also pursued creative writing and screenwriting. Maybe that's where he honed his ability to weave together complex ideas with engaging storytelling.
It's definitely possible. He even published a book of horror stories called Hey Bu Nombre and Mi